Welcome to my nightmare.
What's up, everybody? It's your local man of horror, Troy Ryan, and welcome to my horror podcast where I talk all things scary. I did an episode last week, episode 8, but I wanted to do a part 2 because I originally planned on doing a pick your horror set, specifically an 80s version for last week's episode, but it kind of went a little long. Me and Maria had a lot to talk about in relation to, again, 80s horror and just me choosing Hellraiser as the movie for her to watch and her being terrified of that movie. So, with that, I wanted to do a quick episode to do the pick your horror, and then I actually want to share my review and rating of the movie The Menu because it's on everybody's lips. Everybody's talking about it. I got referred to watch it about 10 times in the past 4 days. So I decided to watch it yesterday, and I'll give you guys my review and rating.
Is that you, Randy? Cute. And what movie is this from? I spit on your garage.
I'll do the review first. Just because I'm pretty sure some people are actually here for that. So The Menu. I have to say it's definitely not the best, but it's far from the worst, right? I gave it 2 stars. It's a very it's a smart movie. It's elevated horror. So the idea of, I think with this one, is a bit of consumerism, elitism, and just how those things are, I guess, the drawbacks of those personalities and things like that. But I think the biggest issue with this is that it's kind of a sleeper. It takes too long to build in some areas. We know why they're there. It's in the fucking trailer, so it's like for it to take so long to get to that point or realization, it has little mini moments. I feel like one of the things they should have done is maybe had a kill happen before, in the background, or not the background maybe, but something, I don't know. It was it was terrible pacing. It was just really bad pacing for this movie. But like I said, it's smart. So I think the issue was just that maybe it was overthought, right? There's the dishes, right? Where and I guess it's a part of the story itself, but there are certain dishes that are just fucking weird and nobody questions them. But Anya Taylor-Joy's character, which, side note, I fucking love Anya Taylor-Joy. Anything she's in, just magnificent. She's just really gorgeous to look at. She's an amazing actress, and she's the only one who's really just looking at all this shit, what the fuck is going on, and it just is our I guess she's supposed to be our view into this world because she's technically not supposed to be there. And I don't know, man. It's it's so hard to describe this movie because, again, I don't want to say it's bad, right? It's not the worst. And there's little things that they could have done to make it better. Like I said, with the pacing, they could have added, a waiter or waitress deaf in the background or something. Or had maybe changed the location. It's something was too dull in that middle part. The best part about it that I liked is there was this waitress who's just a bitch, but funny and I don't know, she's really good. There's a part where they're asking for bread because they get served. And side note, this is what the fuck I mean about the weird dishes, but it's a part of the story, I guess. But they were served breadless dishes, so a plate of sauce. And it was it was 8 different sauces, so there's that, right? But like, it's a fucking plate of sauce. Um, and so anyway, there's like this table of like these pretentious dudes who are just like, hey, give us some fucking bread, like we'll pay you, bitch. Like give us bread. And just really adamant about getting this bread. And she's just like, no. Just the most calmest no. And then she finally leans down to the one guy, just like, you will eat more than you deserve and less than you desire. Or I think that's probably what she said. But either way, it was done really creepily. Like they had good elements in this movie. Like I think she was a really good element. They just it's again not the most watchable. So with that, I'll say my 2 stars are one, kill creativity. There were some interesting kills in this one. Are I guess not necessarily yeah, I mean kills, right? Very yeah, they're kills because the biggest like the issue is that too. Like now that I'm thinking about it, that there weren't really many kills. There's a lot of deaths, but not a lot of kills because there's I don't want to go deeper into that because I feel like that'll spoil the movie. But yeah, and then the other star is for story creativity. It is again, like I said, a smart movie. It's very creative. I like the feel or the angle that it was going for of like Hell's Kitchen and Silence of the Lambs. Like it was like this silent killer thing. Like I think maybe the killer's motive might be what didn't work for me. Like I don't know. Like I really don't know. I don't know what to say because like every time I think about it again, I'm like, damn, this was a good thought, but the execution was just lacking somehow. So I don't know. I'll say definitely give it a watch if you're looking for something new to watch. If you just kind of want to give your own thoughts and opinions, you might actually like it. I know sometimes not everyone has the same opinion. So definitely give it a watch if you think a 2-star movie is worth it. But if not, I totally understand. Yeah, that's the menu.
Just getting mad, right? Better live her alone. Live her alone. Ow, liver. It was a joke.
All right. So now I want to go ahead and get into the pick your horror for this week. Again, I wanted to do an 80s edition because this was like my 80s episode. And so with this, round one, we are gonna go Freddy versus Jason. No, it's been done before. 2 horror 80s icons. And yeah, I had to pick. And I feel like because technically he already won, I'm gonna pick Jason. But I mean, did he win? Because again, Freddy winked at the end, and the idea is that ultimately, Freddy exists in like some hell dream dimension. So as long as you're asleep, he can get you, I guess. So, but either way, round one, I pick Jason. So with that, we go into round two, and what I wanted to do with this one is I wanted to pick the two Power Girls, right? We got Tina Shepard from Friday the 13th, 7, The New Beginning, which was the character who had the telekinesis, and then her versus Alice Johnson from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, the Dream Master. And if you remember her, she had the ability to essentially control dreams as well. She was a daydreamer before, and then she, learned how to use her dreams and again are basically against Freddy essentially. So, but with that, I don't know. So like I think like Alice is kind of like Freddy. As long as you're asleep, she can get you or she can use her powers. But outside of that, it's like it's over. So I feel like Tina would win, especially having telekinesis. In almost like every movie or book or whatever, any medium that reflects telekinesis shows it can have different levels depending on, emotion. So if Tina's just pissed off, it's over for Alice's ass. So round two goes to Alice. Round three, we have Yvonne Miller from Nightmare on Elm Street's The Dream Child, which was like the swimmer girl, and then Jenny Field from Friday the 13th Part 2. Um, she was the blonde chick who had like the rake. I want to say it was like a rake scene where she tries to kill him with the rake. But with this one, I feel like Jenny would win because Yvonne actually irritated the shit out of me in The Dream Child. The Dream Child was not the best movie in general, right? But Yvonne was just like on this whole, and I always hate characters who just refuse to believe what's going on, right? Like she was on this whole, this isn't real. You guys are just depressed. They're going through trauma, blah 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 shit, and it's like, no, bitch, this shit is actually happening. So I feel like she would, like Jason would come and she would like stand there like, oh no, this isn't real. This is stupid, guys. Like, well, fuck you, okay? It's happening. So for that, round 3 goes to Jenny Field. And then round 4, I have Kirsten Parker from Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors. And if you remember her, she was the character who had the ability to bring people into her dreams. So, she brought Nancy and, the whole Dream Warriors group into her dreams so that they could fight Freddy. And I put her versus Alice Hardy from Friday the 13th. And Alice is, the first final girl, the survivor of, Friday the 13th, of Mrs. Voorhees's massacre. And I don't know. I feel like, she has survived a real life massacre. But even still, Kristen has some type of ability. So Kristen wins that one. So that gives us round 5, which is Jason versus my final girl team of Tina, Jenny, and Kirsten. And I feel like next round 6, Kirsten is gonna be out first. She was so fucking annoying. Like Patricia Arquette and that piercing ass fucking scream that she does. Insane. It's insane. Like I remember watching it recently and just being so annoyed with the amount of screaming that she does. There's like a part where they're pulling her away. She's like, "You're coming out!" It's like I can't even do it, but it's just like a wild ass scream, and it's like, oh my god, the pitch. Like she had to have broken glass in that fucking movie or on that set. But because of that, I feel like she would stand there screaming, and Jason is gonna do a classic fucking Jason kill and chop her head off in the middle of it. So, yeah, Kirsten, you're out of there, baby. Round 7, that brings us to Jason versus Tina and Jenny, and I feel like Jenny will be next. Again, Tina has telekinesis; she has powers. Jenny, unfortunately, didn't survive Jason already, and Friday the 13th too. So she's clearly not going to survive him here. And that leads us to the final round of Jason versus Tina. And this technically happened already, but then, obviously Jason survived technically. So, right? I do feel like Tina could kill Jason though. Like officially, like if she honed her telekinesis better, because it did seem like in her movie that it was something she was still kind of learning. So if she honed that a little bit better, she could, I don't know, telekinetically toss his fucking ass at like a plane or something, plane engine jet, or I don't fucking know, something that can kill him. So with that, I actually feel like Tina would be the ultimate final girl in this situation. Yeah, I think that works. I'll say maybe do it yourself. Would you come up with the same solutions? Do you think it would be Jason as the killer, and would Tina, Jenny, and Kirsten be your final girl team, or would it be different?
I'm getting another beer. You want one? Yeah, sure. I'll be right back.
All right, y'all. Thanks so much for listening to my mini episode. Again, I definitely had to do the Pick Your Horror 80s edition for you guys, and I definitely had to review the menu. So I appreciate you guys again so much for listening. Check out my poetry book, The Boy Who Stood in the Rain, on Amazon and Kindle. And again, follow the Instagram, manofhorror_podcast. And until next week, stay spooky, folks. Peace.
Eyes, 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 eyes.